Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Tuesday. We've got a different lineup today. LB is away. Potsy's with us. We've got man like Don making his debut on Straight Facts. Phil from Toon Tactics is here. We've got an action-packed show full of debate. Don is here for blood when it comes to Chelsea. He's here. I don't know what he's going to say or what he's going to do. But he's here for blood today. We're talking transfers, a big report this afternoon that Arsenal have submitted a £58 million bid for Gyökeres. We'll delve into that story. Ekitiké to Chelsea. Could that be the deal at 80 million euros to fire Chelsea into a title race next year? We're debating the battle for Brian Mbeumo. Man United looking and talking, but of course, Newcastle still the favourites on that transfer. We're also going to look ahead of what is going to be a massive night tomorrow in Europe as Chelsea take on Real Betis. And anything else you guys want us to speak on? Get your comments in now. Make sure you're hitting the like button for us and make sure you are subscribing to the Terrace as well. But gentlemen, how are we all? We all well? We all good?
Good, very man. Good.
Chilling, man. Good. Getting ready for tomorrow. Get ready for tomorrow, man. We're good.
Always a privilege to be on here.
Appreciate that, mate. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, you're getting a bit of love as well. Just saw someone say that. Where's it gone? This is love seeing Toon Tactics on the Terrace.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
They definitely did say that. Funniest bit of news of the day, and I wish it was Wednesday and Mo was here just for this, but Inter Milan will be offering Man United a deal to get Rasmus Hojlund. Now, that's made me happy. It made me happy.
I can't believe it.
That's horrendous, man. What the hell are they sending him, man? I can't believe this. He's like the worst striker in the Premier League, man, I think. He's absolutely abysmal. What are they doing here, man? What are Inter Milan doing there? Like, what? So loan with an option to buy. What's that option going to be, though, Tel? Like, what, 20 million or something?
There are reports from Italy, so this isn't the British press, isn't Man United. Reports in Italy have suggested it could be up to 50 million euros.
50 million euros.
Like, let's be fair. I know Man United have been run like crap, terrible year. But I think there should be not a statue, but maybe a plaque somewhere put up outside Old Trafford. If Barada can get 50 million for Rasmus, that deserves some kind of award. Wouldn't you say? There's something in that. That would be brilliant.
What is it? Because Simone Inzaghi is quality, by the way. What has he seen in him? What has he seen?
Let me say something though. If they manage to transform this guy's life and he's looking like an actual player, right? Then boy, I don't know what type of curse is at United, because I'm seeing Anthony coming out crying. I don't know if you guys have seen the quotes. He came out saying, bro, he wanted to get out of this place. We saw Sanchez after the first training session, wanted to get out of that shithole as well, blood. You know what I mean? So if these men manage to turn his fortunes around, then Terry, there's something fundamentally wrong at your circumference.
One thing I forgot about Don is he hates Man United. I completely forgot.
But Don, you're not. Do you know what it is? You think you are talking facts, but you think you're like you've just discovered fire. We've all been living in penthouses for 40 years, for 40,000 years. I've been telling everyone this. It's not the sum of our parts are not the problem. It's never been Pogba. It's never been Jose. It's never been Rashford. It's never been Rooney. It was never Moyes. It's the collective issue. It's the collective issue. When people are together as a group, the standards aren't high enough. Player power ensues. You just feel as a microcosm. Garnacho and his family, the way they tweeted after that final. That's a small example of a wider issue. These players leave. What happens is they go to a dressing room that don't allow that. They go to clubs that don't allow it. But when they're together, they're back. And we've all got mates like this. Think about our lives growing up. You have that one guy that when he's with the wrong group, he acts like a dickhead doing madnesses on the street. But when he's around your house, around your family, lovely guy, your mum likes him. He's a really cool dude. That's Man United players.
You're right. We all know this, innit? I'm just saying with Rasmus in particular, because like with Anthony, cool, he wasn't effective for you guys, but at least you could try and get something out of him. Even if you got to play him at right back or something, something about him, a little something. Rasmus has nothing. That's the point that I'm making here, right? If Rasmus manages to turn his fortunes around, then boy, I don't know, innit? I don't know.
What I would say is this: he wasn't when he first joined, and we know that you didn't think that when he first joined, because you like me, we all saw something there. He's got progressively worse. I actually think. Listen, Philip Billing, none of us wanted him. No one wanted Gilmore. everyone was laughing at the idea that we could ever sell Scott McTominay to Italy. The man just won player of the season. So I will say this, and you should watch, there's a clip, I'll try and find it. Zlatan Ibrahimovic broke down the differences in every league he's played in. And the Premier League, the thing that people don't, a lot of people who watch the Prem hate this because they think that we're saying English people are faster and stronger because of their own bigotry. But the Premier League is played at a tempo that's different to Italy, different to Germany, different to Spain. You can have the technical ability, you can have the intelligence. If you don't have the physicality for the pace of our game, how quickly the ball moves from front to back, it can be hard for you. And I do think players like Anthony, players like Rasmus have struggled with that. Also in the team that has no identity, in a mismatched squad, it's a combination of these things together. But yeah, listen, a loan with an option to buy, I'll take that. And I hope we do similar for the likes of Onana, and because those players are going to be hard to sell because they've got quite a bit of time left on their deals. They're on decent money. But I'm hoping we can get similar reactions to what we've had with Anthony and Rashford and others that have gone out on loan, and then teams come in to buy them. So yeah, listen, I like that news. That cheered me up today. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it happens. What does it say here? You can't fault logic to leave United. Can't fault the logic to leave United.
It's meant to go the other way around, I think.
Oh, okay. I think it's meant to be the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's why it didn't make sense. But I hear you, what you're trying to say, Tony. I hear you. I don't disagree. Listen, I'm not protective of my club in that way. Our biggest issue is our squad. It's not our manager. It's our squad and how it's built and the attitude they've been allowed to get away with. And hopefully we're gonna go and fix that. I mean, because we're on Man United, we might as well go into the story. And I want to get your thoughts on this to begin with, Phil. Lots of talk last night that United is seriously pushing to try and sign Bryan Mbeumo. We've got a deal fixed for Cunha. He will come in. And interestingly, a lot of United's top targets actually mirror the exact same targets of Newcastle. You guys wanted Cunha. We got him. You guys want Mbeumo. We're after him. You guys have proposed a deal to Delap, and so have we, and Chelsea. And there's one other player I'm forgetting, I think, that where there's an overlap. How good a player do you think Mbeumo is? And who do you think wins this race? I'd love to get your view on that, mate.
That's a great question. I think of Mbeumo, I did a show on him recently. He's essentially he got really good at goal efficiency in front of goal. You're not going to ask him to be like doing dribbling like from the midfield to the final third. He's very much a person that kind of the end product type of player. Although he's very good at, I know people would have seen him. Oh, I've seen him dribble into space before. It's different to dribble into space for a counter-attacking team than it is to kind of dribble, kind of being a front pressing team. Assists, goals. I think he's got 20 goals this season in the Premier League, which is really, really, really good. Me personally, I'm a bit hesitant for him for Newcastle, just because I feel like next year we're going to be playing a lot more against low blocks, and we're already struggling a little bit against mid block teams. And I feel like we need a right wing forward, probably more in the mold of a Madueke type, who's very, very good in terms of dribbling and getting past the man in those type of situations. Really good at ball retention, ball recovery, ball retention in those kind of situations. So I'm not overly keen on Mbeumo, though I understand his benefits. I think for Man United, I'm not sure I know there's tons of reports on linking Newcastle to him, and I don't know how far up he is up on our list. I don't think I think the targets that we're really, really looking forward to aren't necessarily being shouted out about, though I do think Cunha was one of our top targets, but we weren't going to necessarily break the bank for him. But yeah, for Man United, probably really good. And you have Cunha in the 10 and Mbeumo probably in the 10. I don't know if that's how you're looking at him as well. I imagine he is very hard working. I think there's only Bruno Gyokeres in the league who's covered more ground in terms of running than Mbeumo this season. So you've got two really hard working number 10s. So we absolutely, all you need to now is to top it off with a striker, hence Liam Delap. But yeah, I'm not overly convinced that he's our number one target, though I do think he's on our short list.
I think he's quality, man. I think he's been quality for at least a couple of seasons, if not more now. I looked at Bryan Mbeumo and think it's probably one of the most obvious choices for Newcastle to go and get on that right-hand side, because as much as Jacob Murphy's been quality, and he really has this season, to be fair to him, I do think that you need that baller, and the goals speak for himself. I think he's got in a lot of people's team of the season. think Brentford have been underappreciated, really, what they've done and what Thomas Frank has done yet again, particularly in terms of scoring goals. And I think him and Visser have been brilliant for them. So I think it would be a great sign. And I think you forget how young he is as well. He's not like he's 29, 30. He's still got a few years left in the tank. I think he's only 25. So for me, I think he's a very good player. And I've been a big fan of him. And he's one that I said we should have gone for some backup for Saka. One thing's for sure, he wants to be playing first-team football. I don't think he's got a chance of coming to Arsenal. I think he's going to have to go and play first-team football somewhere. I actually think Newcastle will be perfect for him, in my opinion. I'm not saying that Manchester United is going to flop, but we've seen of late what happens when players go to Newcastle in the last couple of years to what has happened when they've gone to Manchester United. I think it's just facts. I think it would be a really good move for him. I don't think it would change in terms of too much of a style. I think he'd fit the Eddie Howe system, but I also actually think that he'd continue to score goals there and settle in quite well around some better players. Like Brentford's system's good and they've got some good players, but Newcastle, I think, are going to go next level this summer window. And I know that we were speaking off air about Mitchell potentially leaving, but I do still think he'll have a very good window. So I think Mbeumo will be a brilliant signing for Newcastle. Brilliant.
Yeah, what is that with Mitchell leaving? And shamelessly, I'm going to put a little dig in there. I thought it was just, I read somewhere that it's disgusting to sign new sporting directors and within a year they leave. It's a sign of a badly run club. We know that's sometimes nonsense. But what is the real reason behind Mitchell leaving? Because he hasn't been there that long, has he?
Yeah, I think the difference, perhaps, I'll give my own dig back, is that we've got a really good manager in terms of talent ID. So before Paul Mitchell got there, we were really good in terms of talent ID and the players that we got in. And part of the situation is it's difficult with, and I heard it earlier in the show before, it's difficult with sporting directors and managers who, in terms of hierarchy, who's above who. And if you've got a really good manager, i.e. Eddie Howe, who's already got a good system around him, we've got the likes of Steve Nixon, Andy Howe, his nephew, who spotted Tonali, for instance, and as well as Livramento and all those other guys. Steve Nixon was the person who went across to Brazil to sign up Bruno Gyokeres. When you've already got a team that's doing those kind of things there, it's very difficult for any sporting director to come in and kind of then stamp their authority, say, I want things my way and this way. So I would guess that that's something to do with it. It was a little bit difficult when he first came in. Then they had a process of where they were telling everybody that they're aligned, but clearly they're not that aligned. And I think the timing, just before the transfer window and just after we've confirmed Champions League is telling. So it'll be interesting. I think we're looking for a technical director. So that's going to be a slightly different role. That's probably going to be someone that's more to do with getting the financial structure and kind of the paperwork deals over the line, rather than someone who's going to be identifying players and giving them to Eddie Howe. I think it could be the opposite way around. Eddie Howe and his team will be saying these are the players we want, and this person will be going to get them over the line.
Yeah, listen, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's certain clubs can bring someone in, see that it's not working, remove them, and everyone goes, it makes good business sense. Only a handful of clubs, whenever that always gets turned into a circus, if that makes sense. And it's quite normal to bring some. Do you know what I mean?
That's normal. That's look, what you're saying. It makes perfect sense to me, innit? If that's the road they've gone down, because there's times where you don't want too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Similar sort of thing happened with us with Vivell. When the sporting directors came in, he was just kind of lingering around because Vivell brought us Madwakey. I'm not sure about Mudryk, but he was looking at a few players when he first came. Then he ended up leaving, and now he's at United because his role was redundant. Basically, that's what it is. Yeah. So there's only so much you can really do in that position, and if people are overlapping each other, it could just get a bit messy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Messy because it's like everything was all right before. We didn't actually need you here, really.
I agree, and too many cooks can be a problem. Back on Mbeumo, look, I agree with Potsy. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I'm trying to not count my chickens before they hatch, but it has been a dry paint. I'm going to kind of quote Peter Drury. Boy, we have thirsted for some positivity at Man United this year. Been thirsty, mate. Like I'm gasping. So to have Cunha done, then you get these links. I'm really hopeful we bring him in because between the two of them, in terms of Premier League goals this season, that's 35 to 40 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
So Man United need goals. We're not going to, Amarim said something really interesting today. Goldbridge and I were talking about it earlier, that this summer, not everything's going to be fixed. There are some restraints. We're not going to have like a massive summer. Typical British media didn't follow up with any good questions to say, well, what does that mean? How many are you expecting to bring in? He could mean we're going to struggle to bring in more than 3. He also could mean, don't anyone think we're going to suddenly buy a brand new squad? We're aiming for 5 or 6 players and we would all stay relaxed. So it's frustrating that you never get, journalists never ask for specificity ever. It's unless it's about a topic they know they're not going to get a specific answer on. Are you going to sign this player? They're never going to give you a straight answer of that. They'll ask that question 5 times in 9 different ways, but they won't ask questions that fans actually want the answers to. Having said that, listen, if we could bring in those 2 players, we know goals are important. You know, we're probably only going to bring in, with good sales, 5 to 6 players this summer. Goals, goals, goals. Because we're not going to win the league next year, no matter how good our summer is. But if we could add an extra 40 league goals into our team next year, I think that would put us into a more respectable position where the manager will be given more time. There'll be less media pressure. And hopefully we can look at it and say, we'll bring in another 5 or 6 players and that team could really cook. But I think goals is one of the most important areas for us to focus on. And it looks, you know, we're honing in on Delap.
If you pick Newcastle over Man United, so would you understand it?
As a United fan, I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't look at it and go,
would you understand it though?
Oh yeah, of course. I love my football club, but I am unbiased and I understand where we are right now. And we are still the biggest club in England historically. We still have the biggest fan base, but football players have got to be careful. He's mid-20s. If he picks and does a 5-year deal with United and we don't improve, the system doesn't work. Ineos are awful and nothing they do gets us back to where we want. If we end up, if I think we sign players like him and Cunha, we won't be relegated. I think we'll score enough goals to not be relegated, but he could just sit at mid-table level at a club the size of Man United for years and regret it. So absolutely, I would understand if he went, I just feel Newcastle were in a better position. I just feel they're doing all the right things. I wouldn't look at it and go, that's a weird decision. I would totally understand it. So Newcastle, in a Champions League position, they won a trophy this year. They've got owners that want to get them to the top. They have seen progression year on year. Now, progression isn't linear. That's one thing I would say. And Newcastle were testament to that. Slow start by Eddie Howe, little spike. The first full season was amazing. Last season, it wasn't as good. Now this season, back into Champions League position with a trophy. I think football fans have got to get into their brains that when you're down there, you're never just going to get to the pinnacle in terms, generally, you're not going to just get better and better and better each year in the Prem. There's too many other big teams with money that are willing to spend. But yeah, I'd get it. I want him at the club, though. I'd love Mbeumo. In a we could start our summer, Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, a Delap coming in. That could be sort of 2 or 3 of our opening signings early in this window. I think it will go a long way to showing United fans that we're not just going to sit back and accept this season and sign a player or 2 and see what we can do next year. So,
is Delap going to Chelsea or Man United then?
I hope it goes to Newcastle, to be honest.
The latest that's coming out is apparently he's leaning towards Chelsea now because we've got Champions League, and what's coming out of our club right now is that we're looking at 2 strikers. And that's something that I had a feeling about, man. If we can bring in Delap, I like Delap, but I want him as a backup, right? I want him as a backup. I want him to be learning from someone who's more experienced, someone that's more ready, someone that's already got, already tasted Champions League football, someone that's already won a few things potentially, someone like a Osimhen, someone like a Gyokeres, that sort of player, right? And then you bring in a Delap off the bench and that, you've got Jackson in the squad still. I think that'll be brilliant. Man.
Do you think Jackson stays if you get 2 forwards?
Yeah. I don't see him getting sold. Man. I think to get Jackson now, because he's got that long contract as well, I'll probably say maybe 60 million would probably get it done, 60 to probably maybe even 70 million. Because the thing about him, bro, he's behind in his development. He's really behind his development because he only came to Europe in 2019. So all this development you get when you're playing for academies, he never had it. And you can see it in his game. You can see he's very rash in certain positions and very raw. But outside of the finishing, he is a good player. He picks up the play well. He facilitates quite well. It's just his box movement's terrible because he's not a natural striker. He came up as a winger. So for me, when I'm looking at a Jackson, he's someone that I can see really going off when he's like 26, 27, I'll probably say. Maybe even 25 plus. Because he's only 23 now. You know what I mean? He's only 23 now. So, yeah, Jackson, he still needs a lot of development, man. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind him having him and 2 other options there as well, bro. because injuries happen, form happens. There's many competitions. We're back in the Champions League now, man.
Okay.
Yeah, look, the reports are very varying. So United were expected to sign him in the Telegraph first thing yesterday morning. Then midway through the day, he's leaning towards Chelsea. Then ESPN reported quite late last night that the frameworks agreed with Man United. We obviously now getting more reports that Newcastle are talking to him. And I think, again, just like with Mbeumo, I would totally understand why he would pick one of the other two teams. I'm not sitting here and like, he has to pick us, we're Man United. I don't have that arrogance about my club at the moment. Historically, I'll always defend our history. I'll always, Hussam the other day said it yesterday, Potsy, when Hussam tried, no big team in England's ever been as bad as this United side. Not true. They got relegated and stayed out the top flight for 8 years. I will defend the history of my club, but I won't defend us in the here and now against teams that are currently better than us. I won't do that.
I'm seeing some people trying to waffle in the comments about what my valuation of Jackson. This guy's locked in till the 2030s, bro. Right? Do you think we're going to sell him for less than 40 million, less than 50 million? No chance. No chance, bro. You're talking about a guy as poor as he is in front of goal. He scored 15 goals in the Prem, 14 goals in the Prem in his first season. And this season, he scored 10 goals. You know what I mean? He facilitates for people, like I said. You're not getting this guy for any less than 60 million right now. I don't see it, bro. He's locked into the 2030s, bro.
I think banter era has taken over in those areas. Like, those are really good stats. I think he's better at right wing. Was he right wing forward?
Left.
Okay, left wing.
Yeah,
I think he's better on the wings, to be honest. I don't think he wants that core responsibility of being a striker. That's a little bit too much. And plus, I think he prefers, because Premier League defenders are so big and athletic, it's better to be on the flank sometimes if you're Jackson. I think you'll see him flourish there. I was only going to ask a quick question to Don was, would you prefer a Brian Mbeumo or Madueke on your right?
Oh, bro, Mbeumo, bro. All day long. Mbeumo's better than Madueke. Madueke's a squad player. Mbeumo comes straight into the 11 and improves us straight away. Right? He's more decisive in the final third. He's more clinical in the final third. He's not going to just, lose the ball in a silly situation, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, Madueke, he's only scored 7 goals in the Prem this year, and 4 of them were in the same game. He's had a lot of chances this season to score. It's like Jackson in front of goal. Even against United, this guy could have scored twice.
Yeah. And what I like about Mbeumo is he scores goals. I mean, I'll use the modern day phrase for the kids. He scores low XG goals. He'll get a lot of balls at the sort of corner of the box, drop a shoulder, curl it into the far corner. He scores a lot of goals that from nothing, creates his own goals. Is a more, as a slightly older phrase. I like him. On Delap, just to finish my point on him, I get why we'd pick the other teams. What I would say is that what I'm hoping we can offer him, I don't think we're going to get Gyökeres now, which I'm gutted about because he's such a player, and we'll move on to him later. But one thing we can offer Delap is first team football, where I think Chelsea fans especially and Newcastle fans are talking about where you're going to be a backup to potentially Ekitiké at Tottenham, at Chelsea. You're going to be a backup to Isak at Newcastle. What I'm hoping for is that Man United can sell him on the idea that we're going to get better, but also that you're going to be the starting number 9. I think that's the advantage we have. And barring Newcastle with Mbeumo, that's the advantage we do have slightly over the teams we're negotiating with these players on. But Cunha, I don't necessarily think he picked us because we're United in our history, but you actually look at the other teams that were linked to him. They don't all have the opening in that squad like we do. And I think that's the one advantage with having a bad squad is that nearly any good player you talk to is going to be given a first team berth, where Brian Mbeumo to Arsenal, it's hard because he'll want to start games, but is he going to stop Saka playing football? No, he just isn't. That Saka is going to start in the Arsenal team. So I think that those types of parts of the negotiations help. But again, just like with Mbeumo with Delap, I wouldn't be shocked if he picked somewhere else. Terry, stop lying, as Sam said in the modern era. He adjusted and said in the modern era, to which then I responded, that's fine. So if we're just doing the modern era, I don't want to hear you celebrate 20 league titles. You can only celebrate 2. Because you've only won 2 in the modern era. And my point is this. That's where I would defend Man United, even if we were in the Conference North League. I would defend us. You can't undo history. I remember doing the space once, and you had Chelsea and Arsenal fans bantering each other. And I think Arsenal fans tried... So first of all, what it was is Arsenal fans didn't want to accept that Preston went invincible first in England because it was in like the 19-something. And then later in the same debate, they were saying Chelsea fans, they couldn't include league titles from the 1920s or 30s. And I'm sitting there going, see, that doesn't make sense in an argument, because if you can't accept, if you're going to discount things that Preston have done in this time, you can't. So it was the Chelsea fans, the same Arsenal fans wanted their titles from the early 1900s to count, but not Preston's record. And it's like, well, you can't do that in a debate. So for me, United, if you want to say the worst you've seen from a team in the top 6 in the Premier League era, that's fine. I'm happy to accept that. But you can't say ever and then change afterwards. That's fine. But yeah, what he said, I challenged. He'd only specified. So there we go. If the briefs are true, that we are in for 2 strikers and then bring in the Strasbourg striker in 2026, I doubt Jackson is here by the end of
What Strasbourg striker is that?
Mega.
Is he better than Jackson?
I mean, I didn't really watch much of him, but
too early.
He's more of a natural striker, I would say. But he's young as well, man. He's young. He's still got a lot of learning to do, a lot of development to do. I'm seeing a lot of people getting rattled by this, but bro, this just sounds like a business deal to me. I highly doubt this Omega guy will play for Chelsea.
Yeah. No, I agree. What do you make of the Ekitiké links, Don? You excited about that?
Bro, do you know what it is about Ekitiké? Yeah, like, listen, his all-round game, in terms of the players that are on our list right now, he's probably the best technically. Like, he's very good on the ball. You know, when he's dribbling, it's like he's a winger, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? He runs past people, very good in the tight spaces. He's got good link-up play. Again, he's like Jackson. He knows how to facilitate for people as well. But the only thing for me, Terry, is like his ball striking ain't the best, right? He's better in front of goal in comparison to Jackson, I would say, and he's got better movement. But for me, I want a striker that can slap the ball, bruv. You know, someone like a Gyokeres, someone like a Delap, these sort of guys. I want just a natural striker that can just smack the ball and it goes in. With Ekitiké, some of his shots that I'm seeing, bro, they're just going straight at the keeper. They're just rolling into the keeper's hands. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the major sort of, you know, issue that I've got with him. But in terms of all-round game, he's very, very good, man. Very good player. Reminds me a bit of Isak. You know, that type of flary sort of player. But in terms of finishing wise, bro, there's others that I rate more than this guy, you know?
Yeah, for Newcastle, first it was João Pedro, then it was Ekitiké that we were really looking for before we signed Isak. So yeah, that's the type of profile. I think that's very accurate from Don in terms of the player profile. Ekitiké's got a very similar profile to Isak. It's what Newcastle have been looking for.
There's a lot of money though. Is that 85 million or something?
Yeah, it's like 85 million as well. But then this is what people need to realize, bro. Like, if you're looking at a player like that, you're gonna pay for potential too. Teams are going to add 20 million for potential, bro. Same thing happens with Jackson right now. If you want to try buy Jackson, you're paying for the potential that he could become, right? So you have to add more money on that. That's how business works. You know what I'm saying? So he might not be an 83 million player right now. I'll probably say maybe 40 million if you talk about his actual talent right now. But you're paying for what he can become. That's what it is.
Yeah, we paid 64, 65 for Isak when he first came. People thought it was the funniest thing on earth. So... It's just what you're paying for talent.
You're laughing now. How much is he now? How much is he now? Like 140 million if you want to buy Isak, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a signing, man. That is unbelievable signing. That was, in my opinion. I never laughed at that one. I wanted him at Arsenal big time. We had bloody Eddie up top. I wanted Isak. I was crying out for him. But yeah, no, man, he's a baller. I think Ekitiké, you're right in terms of relating him to that style. I think it could be a lot of money, but I like him. I've got to be honest. I think he scored, 15, 16 goals in like 30?
That's what 15 goals. Yeah. What I do like about him, Potts, yeah, he knows how to separate himself from the defenders, right? And that's something that's quite rare in strikers. He knows how to create chances for himself. You know what I'm saying, right? So with better coaching, you know, he might be able to have better movement in the box because he's a tall frame, innit? He's not the best aerially, to be fair. Like, he's not the best in the air, but he's got long legs. He's got long limbs. He can get on the end of something. He's not like a Jackson that just ball watches. He actually gets in the box and tries to, you know, cause chaos a little bit. But you guys know what I think anyway. For me, I think Osimhen would suit us best when it comes to like the box presence, when it comes to the heading, you know what I mean? When it comes to just that aura that he has, the mask and that, I think he's just built for Chelsea. It's a shame that he doesn't want to drop his wages. You know what I mean? But Ekitiké, I like him. If it was to bring him in, I would support it.
Mask, you know.
It's not my number. It's not my top 3 in it. It's not in my top 3. Put it that way. It's not in my top 3.
I mean, who's the third guy you're linked to? So there's Delap, Ekitiké,
Sesko. Yeah, you got Sesko as well. I like Sesko, man. That's what I'm saying. I like these guys, bro. But for me, if I had to rank here who I want Osimhen number 1. Then I'll probably say, listen, Isak is a pipe dream. I don't see him leaving Newcastle now. They've got Champions League as well. So Gyokeres would probably be my number 2, right? And then number 3, you're looking at the Delaps, you're looking at the Seskos, you're looking at the Ekitikés. You know what I'm saying? I think Delap and Sesko are better finishers than Ekitiké, but all-round game, Ekitiké is better than everyone on that list. Everyone on that list, man.
Listen, it's certainly an interesting one. There's no doubt. This year from DJ says, if Chelsea finished 15th, making cuts weekly, had our owners talk about running out of cash, we'd be hearing non-stop about the financial black hole. You are very positive, Kel. See, this is where it's a good call out. But I can answer this honestly, or I can banter you back. I'll answer it honestly. If Man United this summer and next summer spend 1.4 billion, and then within a couple of seasons we're not back in the Champions League and revenues aren't increasing, I'll have the exact same opinion on Man United as I do Chelsea. Chelsea couldn't carry on spending as they have done under Clear Lake without increasing their revenues and getting back into the Champions League. So Man United are reducing their revenues. As in, they're reducing the expenditure whilst maintaining revenues. For a period of time with Chelsea, the revenues were decreasing because there was no Champions League football. The loan system had been changed in European football, and that was a massive way that you guys raised about 50, 60 million a year. You had the loans every year coming in from Roman Abramovich. So you lost Roman's 30 to 40 million a year in loans. You lost your loan market because the FIFA changed the rules of 30 to 40 millions. No European football, no shirt sponsor for a period. Plus, you spent about 4 or 5 years worth of money in the opening 2 seasons. All that was said is if you don't get back to Champions League football and increase the revenues, it would be financially impossible to keep spending in that way.
Yeah. So it'll catch up with you. It'll catch up with you.
So Man United is the other way. We're spending less. So the idea of there being a black hole is less likely. But
what it was, there was a black hole that got filled with the sale of the hotels and
absolutely.
Team and whatnot. Like you can't. There's only so many assets that you've got in it. You know what I mean? If you stop making Champions League, we're going to sell next, bro, the car park and that. You know what I mean? You can't keep doing these things.
Like a women's football team, something like that.
Yeah, the women's football team. We sold it to ourselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And again, I praise those things by Chelsea. I went fair play to you. You know, I would not be angry today if Ineos today bought the women's team for 200 million quid and we paid 200 million of our debt off. I wouldn't be sitting again bad owners. I'd be saying good owners. You know, you're finding a solution. The only thing I stand by what I said at the time about Chelsea. Had they not made it back into the Champions League, they would not be able to keep spending in the way they started off with. Now you've got that Champions League money, you'll find that your sponsors will pay you more, etc., and you'll increase your revenues.
Yeah, I mean, on the conversation about Champions League, you know, a little birdie told me that, you know, Potts was trying to shit on our parade and talking about Enzo Fernandez crying and, you know, talking about this is the Chelsea that I didn't want to know and, you know, why are you not celebrating like this and that. You know what I mean? I mean, you're one of the people, Potts, that told me that Chelsea aren't going to get in the top 7. That's what you told me. Yeah. Not a single person on that panel that I do a show with Dan Potts, by the way, people. This is London and Race for Europe as well. Yeah. Not a single person predicted Chelsea to get in the top 7.
Shocking channel that's on, though. Shocking channel that's on. love.
Not a single person, predicted that Chelsea would finish in the top 4. You know what, calling me delusional. How can you finish in the top 4? You've got a manager from the Championship. He can't be better than Poch, yeah? You've got Jackson up top. You've got this guy there. Palmer ain't going to do it again, yeah? Your defense is shit. Your defense can't do anything, right? How is he going to put this team together? You've got so many players. You've got no experience, yeah? And I told you, lot, bro, I've been watching Maresca. I've been doing my research, yeah? You don't like to call me White Scout Merchant. I am a White Scout Merchant, and I'm proud, yeah? Because when I'm watching the game, I like to know what I'm talking about. And when I watched Maresca, I knew this guy tactically is better than Poch. Because Poch last season made a lot of players look worse than what they are, bro. A lot of players look worse than what they are, bro. Right? I told you about our defense. It's not as bad as what people make it out to be. Colwill at the back. Chalobah at the back. Tosin at the back. Sanchez in goal. Throwing balls into the back of the net. Jorgensen throwing balls into the back of the net. But somehow we have the 3rd best defense in the league. Yeah? Behind the Mighty Gooners and Liverpool. They're the only 2 teams that have a better defense than us, bro. Yeah, I told you Maresca structurally is going to improve us, right? Caicedo this season, bro. I'm seeing this guy in no teams of the seasons, but I don't need the validation because I know what I've been watching. All the metrics back up what I've been saying about Caicedo, bro. He's up there for everything. Yeah. And he's a big reason why our defense has been the third best this season, bro. Yeah. We've finished 5 points behind you this season, Potts. You ain't no benchmark. I'm not looking at you, man, for next season. I'm looking at Liverpool. That's the benchmark I'm trying to reach. Yeah. Not you, man. You tried to say, we're miles away from you guys. We're miles away from you guys. Bro, you scored like what? 3-4 more goals than me. Yeah. My midfield has absolutely cleared your midfield. Yeah. Terry asked me, Terry, you forgot that conversation we had at the start of the season, bro. You asked me, you said to me, Chelsea's midfield, how is it better than Arsenal's? What's the metrics you judge it on? I told you chances created. I told you all the defensive metrics for the DM. I told you goals scored. Yeah. Palmer outperformed Odegaard. Enzo outperformed Declan Rice. Caicedo outperformed any DM you want to bring to the table. Any of your midfielders you want to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But Arsenal did score more than you and conceded less than you, though, right? So
Carry on. I've stored it all up here, man. I'll come back in a minute. Let him carry on with this.
We're not adding Trossard's goals into this. We're not adding Havertz's goals into this. We are specifically talking about the midfield. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was right. I was right about this team. I told you we're going to get top 4, and you lot were trying to tell me I'm delusional. I was right, blood, and you were wrong. Yeah. You were wrong. You were wrong about my midfield. You're wrong about my manager. You're wrong about my defense. Yeah. And you better pray that this summer I don't fucking spend correctly. You know what I'm saying? Because you sound real salty, bro. Yeah. Your club goes into the Champions League and you're them guys in PE. Remember them guys in PE that you pick last? Yeah. Because they don't do nothing on the pitch. You man don't do nothing in Europe. Yeah. European heritage in London is back, bro. Yeah. 2 times, bro. You ain't seen it once. Yeah. Spurs have more European heritage than you. But you want to try to talk about the Champions League as if we're just there to just take part like you, man. We don't come to the Champions League with curtains for tifos and that, blood. We come in there with the real deal. You know what I mean? We come in there with the fucking real deal, bro. Yeah? And these man can be shameless. They let them celebrate. Let them be happy trying to police our celebrations. Because you man have been slandering us. Yeah? You man have been slandering us for 2-3 years, bro. Since we've been out of the Champions League. Slandering us every single time Chelsea have finished. Chelsea will never get back. Chelsea won't do nothing. Yeah. These men are now getting 20% more added to their wages. Why can't they be happy? They'll be getting paid more money, bro. Yeah. A lot of these players are young. This is the youngest Premier League team in history, bro. And most of them have never played Champions League. Why can't they be happy, bro? Why can't they be happy? Because I was watching Conference League this year and I could see cows in the background, bro. I could see cows. I played Servette and I could see cows. Yeah. And you're telling me that I can't be happy that I'll be playing Real Madrid, Barcelona, and these sort of teams. Why? Why? Yeah? Oh, this ain't the Chelsea that I knew. No one's treating this as a trophy. Because if you ask Chelsea fans, yo, why are you not celebrating like this? Are you happy now, yeah? They'll tell you, bro, no. I want us to go, in the summer, make sure that we use our Champions League clout, because we're now shopping in Harrods like you, man. Yeah? Use your championship clout to go get these players that we need to get over the line next season. Because like I keep telling you, Potts, the team that wins the league next year is the team that rebuilds the best. You know what I'm saying? That's who's going to win the league next year, bro. You know what I mean? If we had a fucking striker that could finish their chances this year, we would have been a lot closer to Liverpool. Would have been far from you, man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Would have been far from you, man, bro. Yeah? So just take time and stop being so salty. Your tears are fueling me, bro. They're fueling me. You know what I mean? You can't just hold your hands up and say I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just hold your hands up and say I was wrong instead of trying to make us look mad for celebrating something that you guys thought we're not going to get. Everyone looked at our fucking last games, bro. We had Man United. You ain't beating Man United. You're not beating Liverpool. Yeah? You're not beating Everton. You're not beating Fulham. Yeah? We beat all these teams, bro. Yeah? We were the least favorite out of all those teams chasing top 5. We were the least favorite, bro. And we managed to get it. And my manager did it the Chelsea way, bro. Yeah? How many clean sheets did we keep during that period, bro? You know what I mean? Our defenders saving us. Cucurella saving us. Colwell saving us. You know what I mean? Have some fucking respect when you talk about my club.
Well, that was lovely. This guy here is a shameless brother. My goodness. What have Chelsea actually done and achieved this season? I must miss something here. They won the treble here or something. What is actually going on here? I mean, that rant there, that monologue for about 10 minutes, is as if Chelsea have just gone some invincible treble or something. This guy basically told me at the start of the season that Liverpool and Arsenal have a worse squad than Chelsea. Well, if Caicedo is better than Rice and this guy's better than this, that, and the third, then how come Chelsea couldn't finish above Arsenal and Liverpool then? Or Man City?
That you'd finish above me.
No. I let you talk. Next thing, last game of the season, Enzo Fernandez cries his eyes out, yeah, like he's never ever
Who told you he was crying? Who told you he was crying? Who told you he was
done
crying?
anything in his life ever. Now
I
tell
didn't
you
see
said
it cry.
earlier.
I didn't see him cry.
Hang on a minute. I didn't interrupt you. Tell when you said earlier that Manchester United you want him to get into the Champions League. Would Bruno Fernandes be crying on the floor if you got fourth last place, playing free from desire in the bloody changing room for coming top 4 in the last game of the season? Let me tell you this: no, he wouldn't. And that's Manchester United, who are disappointed with their team in that moment. So all I will say is this, Don. Well done for getting top 4. I did not know that Chelsea's standards had fallen that far. Because when I was watching Chelsea, they were destroying me every week. Winning titles, Champions Leagues, destroying us, dunking on us under Roman. Now all of a sudden it's 4th and I'm supposed to bow down to this and go, I'm so scared. I wish I was Chelsea. Oh my God, they're behind us. They're coming for us. I could not give a damn about Chelsea, bro. I couldn't give a damn. The two of the most boring games I played was against you, man, this season. At the Emirates, it was easy. Pedro Neto was your striker, I think. £1.5 billion spent. And he's your top man. Jackson, I told you about this guy. You were screaming at me last season. Now all of a sudden, I want 2 strikers. Don't worry about Jackson. Told me about Madueke. No, he's not as good as Brian Mbeumo. But last season, Mudryk was better than Martinelli. What's his name? Madueke was the best one-on-one taker. All this stuff you're coming out with. Look, man, I've got to say, well done. I hope you beat Betis in the Conference League. I hope you do, because that's now your level. And then hopefully Enzo can have another good cry on the pitch.
Where did you see Enzo crying, bro? I was at the game. You didn't cry.
Enzo was crying his eyes out, man. He was well happy.
Who told you this? Who told you this?
Free from desire in the Champions League. Na 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 na. We're 4th place. What's happening to Chelsea, man? Where have they come from? What are they doing now? Roman's gone, man.
The longest time that my club has gone without Champions League football is 2 years, bro. Yours is 6 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's uni and even fucking a PhD and that, bro. You know what I'm saying? This was a little hiatus. In my little hiatus, you're yet to do anything, Potts. You know what I'm saying? You can do all this talking about squads and whatnot, but I said Arsenal and Liverpool are going to finish above me, but I put myself 4th. You know what I mean? So you can do all of that, bro, because on Wednesday, tomorrow, bro, yeah? If I win that trophy tomorrow, that's 2 trophies that I've won since your last one, bro. Yeah? Newcastle have one more recent to you. Spurs have one more recent to you. Palace, God damn it, have one more recent to you, bro. You know what I mean? But then you think you could just sit there and talk about your miles ahead. Miles ahead of nothing. You know my miles ahead of nothing. You ain't miles ahead of nothing, bro. You know what I mean? You ain't no benchmark. You ain't no benchmark, bro. I don't look at you, man.
Did I say Arsenal were the benchmark? When did I say Arsenal were the benchmark?
You're still midfield, bro. Your midfield
when did I tell you Arsenal were the benchmark, bro? When did
I tell you? You're miles ahead of us, so that must mean you're the benchmark, right? You said you're miles ahead of us, right?
If we're miles ahead of you, that means you're even further away from where the benchmark should be.
Broski, Liverpool finished, 15 points ahead of me or something mad like that?
Yeah, there you go. Concentrate on Liverpool then. Don't worry about Arsenal.
I've seen a lot worse because last time Slot came, when Slot came to the bridge, he said, yo, when we played these guys at Anfield, I thought they were going to challenge us. Yeah? I know what I was watching. It said away from PSG, they're probably the best team we played this season, bro. But then I come here and you talk about us as if we're fucking Preston, bro. You know what I mean? You need to take time, bro. Yeah? You need to take time and make sure that your manager wins the Champions League or the Prem next season, bro. That's what he needs to win. And make sure Maresca don't win nothing domestically before this guy, bro. Because it's looking like Maresca's going to win something in Europe before him. You know what I mean? Ange could do it, so why can't Maresca? Yeah.
Are you gonna claim that conference? Are you gonna claim that Conference Cup as something I believe has been a massive trophy to win? Come on, man. You have to, that competition was made for the dross that ain't good enough for the Champions League. Let's just
yeah. But listen, we're in it now, so we better win it. Yeah, I want these young.
You better win it, man. Don't lose the Betis. I want these cows everywhere you're looking,
bro. I want these young players to actually taste what it feels like to win, because once you win something, bro, it fuels you. You get hungry. You want more.
Don, can I ask you a question? I get your passion for your football club, and I love hearing it. Not gonna lie. Playing host here, I'll ask you a question. Based on what you're saying now, do you think you're gonna have a better season than Arsenal next year? Do you think you'll finish above them next season?
Bro, it all depends on who we bring in. It all depends on who we bring in, bro. We don't have balls in this team.
After all that,
bro, listen, Terry. Let me tell you something, bro. This is the first time, in 3 years, I've seen clearly going into the summer with Champions League. These men are unpredictable as it is, bro. I don't know how they're going to treat it, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're bringing the right signings. We could definitely finish above these guys, 110%. If you had asked me this when we finished 12th, I would have told you no chance, because we still need to, bridge that gap. We've bridged that gap, right? They finished 26 points ahead of me last year. They have finished 5 points ahead of me this season, bro. But then Potts is talking to me like I should be looking at them as if they're some scary dudes. You ain't no scary dudes.
Well, they're scary enough. They're scary. Listen, I hear a lot of what you're saying, but they're scary enough for you to not have any chest to say you'll finish above them. They're scary enough for you to not know that.
Because they're a good team. I'm not going to sit here and act as if they're shit. As much as I think, what it is, it's their fans I don't like. You know this. You know this. It's their fans I don't like, bro. It's their fans I don't like. When you talk about their players, there's certain players that they've got that I like, right? But there's certain things that their manager does, like playing Declan Rice in an 8, that I don't like. Yeah, and I don't think that's going to help you lot going forward. I'll be so real. You know what I mean? But end of the day, they've got a few holes to plug. I've got a few holes to plug. And then we'll go from there. Me and Potts literally want the same players. He wants Rodrigo. I want Rodrigo. He wants Gyökeres. I want Gyökeres. We're shopping in the same place, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Let's see you get from them,
man. Back in the Champions League.
If we end up with Gyökeres and you end up with Ekitiké and we end up with Rodrigo and you end up with Gittins or whatever it be, then let's see what happens.
You want Gittins too, by the way. You're looking at Gittins as well. So don't end up with him.
Let's see what Andrea Berta can do, man.
I've got Esteval landing. Yeah, we don't go to Brazil and bring back guys like Marquinhos. He ain't no Brazilian. We don't go to Brazil and bring back guys like Martinelli.
Hopefully you keep going and bringing in more 21-year-olds, and then we're all.
Oh yeah, you're going to learn about.
If you're ready, you're in the process as well, Don. Don't remember this. You're in the process, man. You're in a 5-year process. You've already had 4 years without a trophy. You banter us. You're turning into Arsenal. Enjoy it, man. You're here for it. You're loving it. You're picking up your club every week, telling us that Clear Lake, Blue Lake, all these guys are going to do this, that, and the third. Come on, man. Real talk. Get yourself back into what it was when I was growing up, man. When Roman was actually winning stuff.
I sleep at night comfortably because, like I said, whilst I've been on my little break, you've won fuck all, mate. When you was in the mud, I was clearing up. You know what I mean? So don't make me start clearing up again before you start winning again, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've just listed you all these clubs, all these little clubs that have won something because this summer in London, it's looking like there's going to be only one team that are missing something, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's looking like you, man, again, bro.
You know what's mad? Over £1 billion spent. That's actually £100 million per position. And look at the state of Chelsea's team. Why are you
trying to add people that aren't even in the squad, bro? Because if you actually go talk about our squad, it's worth about 700 million, and we made a lot of money. You never talk about the money we bring in, by the way. You never talk about the money that we bring in.
How many players do you still need in your first 11, Don?
Potts. In life, the more money you make, the more money that you make, Potts, the more money that you spend. Yeah, the highest sale that you have at your club is Chamberlain, bro. And how long ago was that? 40 M's. That's the
what are we talking about that for? I'm talking about your club, not my club. Yeah, you always keep coming back to Arsenal. I know you love us and we're refereeing your head all the time.
You want to talk about money spent. So why don't you speak about the money that we bring in? Why don't you talk about the fact that you spent 65 million for Kai Havertz, that donkey? Why not? You gave us 65 M's. Terry gave me 65 million for Mason, bro. And these guys were stinking out the gaff. Why don't you talk about that?
What's the 700 million won you? What's the 700 million won you? A conference cup? Is that what's going to do? 700 million for a conference cup? Is that what we're talking about?
We eradicated our whole team. Yeah, let's not act as if we had
badly.
We sold everyone. So you have, bro, to make another team, you have to spend money. That's what happened. Don't try to take away the context from it, bro.
Guys, how many of these teams are we actually? Is the three of us actually going to seriously look at and go, do you know what? I'd love him. Caicedo, Palmer, then I'm starting to dry up already. I'm a fan of Lavia. Yeah, I think Gusto could be potentially very good if Reece James wasn't injury prone. Otherwise, nah, I'm leaving the rest of them, man. That's
fine, man. You can leave them, not a problem. But we know internally what we need. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when you go check all the underlying metrics, we are clearly on an upwards trajectory, and that's why now I'm not even looking at Maresca too tough. He's done his bit in the league. I want him to win tomorrow. Yes, I wanted him to do better in the domestic cups. Yes, it was his first year learning. Cool. But now it's the sporting directors to bring in the key players that we need. Bring in a striker that can finish. Bring me a centre-back that can play next to Colwell. Bring me a left winger as well, bro. And then we move from there. Yeah, we've got Santos coming. He's been picked for Brazil. You've got Esteval coming. But we still need a little bit more to go again, bro.
Esteval and Andres Santos are not going to win you the league, Don. Just to let you know.
Bro, listen, they're very good players, innit? They're very good players, bro. Yeah, and they'll help. They'll help a lot. That I know.
I'm used to Zola's, Hazard's, Drogba's, Lampard's, Terry's. None of these guys anywhere near that level, man.
Yeah, so man. And I'm used to Alexis Sanchez. I'm used to Henry. I'm used to Bergkamp.
See, go back to Arsenal again. You can't help yourself. I'm talking about Chelsea. You want to talk
somehow
about
you're miles ahead of me, but then you haven't got these same players that you love that you want to try crash me.
You know what? You know my thoughts about club. I'm not talking about Arsenal. We're talking about Chelsea here, brother.
Living in the past. The past is gone. Now it's time for a new era, bro. It's a new era of managers. It's a new era of players. It's a new era for everything, bro. You know what I mean? So you got to affirm it. Talking about John Terry and these men are finished. These men are done now. It's finished, bro. It's now time to build some new history. That's what it's time for.
Right, cool. I hope Colwell turns into John Terry, and I hope that Caicedo's your Lampard, and I hope that Jackson's your Drogba. For your sake, man.
I do too, man. If they become that, then that means they've been successful.
Guys, I want to jump to some of these super chats here. Great debate. I'm sure Phil, just like me, you've enjoyed sitting there listening to it. It's been great fun. I want to go to a few super chats here. The first one said from Gav. He says we weren't celebrating top four, but what it means: Champions League money, Champions League level sponsors, world class. Sorry, WCC money. What does that mean?
World Cup
money. Yeah. Means we can finish our spine. We can meet our standards next season in challenging new competitions.
Big up for that, but that is everything that I've just proved about Chelsea. It's all about win. It's all about money, so they can buy more money now. It's not about success. It's about what money we're bringing in.
But you just heard. That's what I'm saying.
No. About player sales. I'm not going to go into debate again, but that's what Chelsea are now.
But hold on. Let's be real now. You just heard Terry talking about the black hole. We're having to sell assets, bro. Champions League gets us what? Minimum 100 million. We needed it, right? We needed Champions League. You said a million and one times Chelsea need to be back in the Champions League. Now we're in there. Cook us for getting back in there, bro.
No, I'm not cooking you. I'm cooking your celebration and over the top celebration about coming fourth. That's nothing to celebrate, bro.
Yeah, but when people have been shitting on you all the time, bro, what do you think is gonna happen? If your teacher kept telling you you're gonna fail maths, and you get a B in maths, you're gonna show them in their face. That's what's gonna happen. And that's exactly what's happened here.
I just want you to realize how far you Chelsea fan base have dropped celebrating fourth. That's all I wanted to know. So, but at least I've got that through to you now.
DJ here says, Potts, you are waffling. Stop moving the goalposts. You said we'd finish 8th. Now we are 4th with the hardest run-in. You're waffling. Get in the bin. You're hilarious.
I accepted I was wrong about Chelsea getting top 4. I accepted that. I was wrong about Forest. I was wrong about many clubs this season. I said Newcastle will get top 4. That's pretty much the only thing other than Arsenal coming second that I got right. So I accepted I was wrong, man.
Fonzie here says, congrats, Don. Looks like Wenger corrupted Chelsea as well as Arsenal. Top 4, hang it in the Louvre. You'll never walk alone. Ola here says, Don, did you say Chelsea had a better squad than Liverpool and would finish higher?
No, I didn't, bro. See, this is what I'm saying. When people talk about squad player, yeah, what does that mean? When you say, oh, it's part of the squad, you're obviously talking about squad players. You're talking about the bench. I specifically spoke about our depth. I put Liverpool and Arsenal ahead of us. Why am I going to do that if I think my team's better than theirs? Why? Doesn't make any sense. I predicted us 4th. I said Arsenal would finish 2nd, Liverpool 3rd, and Man City 1st. But I said I rate our depth more than theirs, bro. That's it.
This year says, crazy to today's world being in the 3rd-rate comp, Don's words. Cows outside the stadium using it as a flex versus the semi-finals of a legit competition.
I didn't even knew. This is what I'm saying. This is what I mean. Colton, yeah? This is what I mean. Your comprehension stinks. You're cooking yourself. And thanks for the $5 as well. Yeah, thanks for the $5. You're cooking yourself. I wasn't flexing the cows. I said these guys have been playing against cows, right? Now they're back in the real place. They're real in the real competitions, bro. Yeah, so why can't they celebrate it? So you've just wasted your money, but thanks for that anyway, man.
This here says, Don is the only guy who sits for 20 minutes saying how much better they are than Arsenal, only to then say it depends on who we sign if we finish above Arsenal.
The game's the game, man. The game's the game.
The game's the game. The game's the game.
Well done, Rob.
I've never heard more trash and nonsense in my life. All this hype just barely made top 4. 1 billion spent the Chelsea way. Is there such a thing?
As Ange would say, it's who they are, mate. That's who they are now, then. Chelsea now. That's who they now are. 1 billion spent, top 4, achievement. Congratulations, Chelsea.
You will give yourself a heart attack, Don. Chill. No, he won't. No, he won't.
That was tame for Don, man. That was tame for Don. Trust.
Proud of our club. Not all Chelsea fans are like Don. That'd be boring, wouldn't it, if they weren't all like Don? I love Don. 1 billion, that's an expensive conference league, is what Wayne says here.
It is. It really is. You're right. You are right about that.
Mr. Big Piece. He doesn't know himself. Condon is the most shameless football content creator ever.
I am, man. I am.
Now, I will be honest with you, bro. You're not. I've seen a lot. Like Hamza did something the other day, and he thought he was flexing. He was like, we had the worst season we've had under Pep, and we still only finished like 4 points behind Arsenal. We had a 1 win in 13. Yeah, at the beginning of that 1 win in 13, you were 5 points ahead of Arsenal. Like, it really ain't the flex you thought it was. It's so strange. It's so I heard it and I was like, I don't see what you're happy about. You had a bad season. Just walk away. Or Rodrigo is not going to a 5-year failed project. Which, we'll be honest, which one of the two clubs you aiming that at? Because contextually, you could argue that about both clubs.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could.
You know what I mean? Yeah, go.
I think that would be attracted to Rodrigo because he's just been in a really successful project where he wasn't the main man. He probably wants to prove that he is the main man, that he is a star, and really going to a project. Yeah. I'm not going to say failing, but maybe not quite winning trophies just yet. He wants to probably show that he is that star guy. I think that would. I think it's the opposite effect. I think that would attract him.
Look at that. Tony here says, Don reminds me of a politician. Answers questions without answering them. Straight waffle. You say too much and forget it's all online, bruv. Receipts.
Bring the receipts, bro. You know what I mean? You've got my Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. It's easy to find me. I've got a lot of things documented as well. Don't worry about that, bro. Don't worry about that.
Boomer Guna says, Don is 100% the Chelsea egal.
Don't do that. All of you lot were wrong. All of you lot were trying to call me the
I weren't. I predicted you come in top 4.
Terry, you were right then. You were with
I predicted you didn't know this. I got called out the other day. You didn't think we'd beat Forest. What did I say on Friday?
Yeah, actually you did.
I said you beat Forest.
And people say I'm a politician. I literally said we're getting Champions League.
That's true. You did. No, you did.
I did listen to that conversation, though, Don. That was. I was running at the time, and I nearly fell over listening to the conversation. Honestly, that nearly had me. That's the only reason I remember it. Sorry, Don. That's the only reason I remember.
I had belief. I was at the game. I've been going to the last few games recently, and that, like Terry said on Straight Facts the other day, we've been on good form. So I believe that we was going to get it.
Now, listen, I thought you would. And a few people saying I did go back and watch my preseason predictions. I said I put Chelsea top 4. Yes, I criticised them in their bad run because they needed to be criticised. And I will say this, when teams are in bad form, we're going to create discussion points on it on the terrace. Otherwise, if we don't, that logic dictates we should all do preseason predictions. Every YouTuber should keep their channel shut down, no content until the final day of the season, then come back and see who was right or wrong. That'd be a weird thing to do, me old mucker. 800 million spent. Only thing to show is you beat Madrid, is what Aziz says here. Says here. It's obviously at you, Potsy. Don says with chest. Right. We will be better than John says it with chess. We'll be better than Arsenal next season. Arteta is done. We ain't talking to a team that comes second and won all in the last 3 years.
Hey man, come to me end of the summer, the window, man. We'll talk again, bro. These sporting directors and owners, they can't be trusted right now, bro.
By the way, Andrew Barnes, who's super chat, is a Chelsea fan, by the way.
Oh, he's a Chelsea fan.
He's Chelsea. He comes on the show.
No, listen, don't put all your eggs in one basket of Clear Lake. I'll be real. Let's wait and see what they do. They've got a lot of rectifying to do.
Nick Hunter, also a Chelsea fan, says if every team had their peak standards all the time, 9 teams would finish first. Football comes in cycles. If you don't celebrate wins, the sport is dead. Couldn't agree more. I actually don't agree with Potsy's logic, even though it's fun to listen to. I think teams should celebrate the progression and the steps because it opens up opportunities. I think Chelsea will try and win the Champions League. So I think they should celebrate being in it. And equally, the standards argument is so interesting because if every team in England had Man City standards, 3 teams are still getting relegated. It's not this guarantee that people thinks it is of trophies and of getting over the line. I think it's become too much.
Remember when Arsenal were doing it, Tol? Do you remember that hatred that we got? Now that Chelsea do it, it's all right. Weird that.
No, but they don't change it. Don't change it though, Potts, because end of the day, when you lot were getting top 4, that's all you were doing. Like you were going on fucking 9-year droughts.
That might be all that you do. You don't know that yet.
You had your little streak of getting top 4 and whatnot and winning the FA Cup, but you were dried up. We were winning stuff, bro. So Champions League was just a formality.
Make sure you're winning stuff now, then, brother.
Yeah, we need to, and it starts tomorrow. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to lie, right? Do you know the only reason I want Real Betis to win, genuinely, is because I want Real Betis to win and Antony to score the winner because I want some more money in the transfer market. It's nothing to do with Chelsea. It's purely money from Antony because honestly...
Man United, yeah. Man United sell Hojlund and Antony for like 100 million. Imagine.
You probably get about 45 million for Antony now.
Yeah, probably about that. If not, maybe a little more, but yeah, probably about that. Which is fair, which again, this is the maddest bit. We're losing money on the deal because of how much we spent. That's £40 million than he was worth when we actually signed him, which is why you should buy players for as close to market value as possible because it's like the Delap deal. I think anyone who gets Delap, even if he flops, you're still likely to be able to sell him on at least breaking even or making a profit because he's so cheap. If he didn't have a buyout clause, he'd easily be a £50 million signing this summer. So, yeah, no, I get you. The Don Igao has a ring to it, is what Fonzie says.
You're not mocking me, bro. I'm seeing Igao still doing up Mikel propaganda, like parading him on the timeline. Like, brother, please. Igao's Igao. Don't compare me to him, please.
Yeah, as an Arsenal fan, Igao is shameless, man. I love him, but my God.
He's different level.
He's mad. He's mad.
Yeah, he had an argument with me the other day. I don't know exactly what we were talking about now, but I was basically saying that injuries play a role in why a team isn't as good season to season. If next season Bruno Gyokeres and Isak are out all year injured, there's a good chance that Newcastle are not as good, no matter what they buy this summer. But I was saying to him that had you guys gone and got Rodrigo and Gyökeres last summer because you're linked to them now, even with your injuries, there's a chance you would be closer to Liverpool. There's a chance you could have knocked Paris Saint-Germain out the Champions League. So building a stronger squad is the route to surviving injury issues. The same as with Newcastle. If they have a striker close to Isak's level and a midfielder close to Bruno's level, and those two players get injured, there is adequate cover. The drop down isn't so vast. And he was basically going, basically telling me that wouldn't work. And I'm sitting there and it's like, what do you mean it wouldn't work? It's quite literally the definition of depth, it was a strange one. Donald, Saka lives rent-free in your head with the lock and key. Keep him out your mouth, is what Wizard Wisdom says here.
I mentioned him today. I haven't even mentioned Bukayo today, bro.
It's true, you haven't.
That's true. That's true.
F the celebration police. I agree with you on that. Like people, I don't agree with people mocking teams' celebrations. You should celebrate. You should be happy, and especially when you've gone through bad times. Exactly. I can't lie to you. I was watching the Napoli fans. I know they won the league 2 years ago, but I was watching the Napoli fans celebrate the other day when they won the league, and I was sitting there, right? I had a little whiskey in my hand, and there's this little glint, a little tear in my eye. I was like, "Oh, I pray for the day we win a league title again," because I think this time around, unlike all the other times in my life, because I was a kid and then won so many, I think this time around I'll cry. I think this time round it will hit me emotionally more than it did when we were winning them regularly. Because
I'm the same, man. I'm the same.
Terry, I'm telling you, bro. I was fucking going to Anfield away when we finished 12th, bro. Going to Leicester away when we finished 12th. Struggling to get 40 points. I drove 2.5 hours to Nottingham to go watch the boys play. Put in a real classic Chelsea performance defensively. But Potts wants me to just say, "All right, boys, see you later. I'm off." It don't work.
No. You support your club how you want, bro. You support your club how you want. If that's a massive achievement for you and you want to celebrate it and get the champagne out, you crack on, Don. Fine by me, man.
It's a step in the right direction to get where we need to get to, Potts.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Listen, you do what you support your club how you want to support your club, brother.
Colton Conroy here says, Dom, conference versus champs is like beating your neighbor in a foot race versus the Olympics. A small club cup, good job, but your size, embarrassing that you are in it.
It is embarrassing that we're in it. That's why we need to make sure that we win it.
I agree.
I'll tell you what, don't be losing because Lawless will absolutely fry you, bro, if you do not beat Betis. Let me tell you this now.
I've got more smoke for him. I even found more receipts because he was crying the other day in the group, innit?
Yeah.
We've got straight facts again on Friday, don't we, Tell?
We do. Yeah. All right, Don, if you're going to come with this chest and you don't win the Champions League, we are coming for you.
Bro, listen, that's the beauty of it, man. That's the beauty of this game, bro. You lot can come back for me, but if I do manage to win that next year, my first year back, hey, you're not going to hear the end of it, blood. I'm telling you. Because I've got 2 times. I've got 2 stars to my name, You lot ain't seen that, bro.
You still are delusional. Everyone in Chelsea's world class, best midfield, best defense. Squad is as good as Arsenal's. Arsenal stopped playing for the last 4 games, is what Colton Conroy says here. This is slightly off that subject, but says, firstly, to the Newcastle fan, that's Phil, are you excited that Sunderland are back?
Oh, great question. I think, sure, like, great to have them back, whatever. I think it might be different for Newcastle fans that actually live in Newcastle. I think I'll be more interested in it if they were of a level like closer to the level like you got Chelsea's, Tottenham's, and Arsenal's and whatnot in terms of just league rivalry. But yeah, great to have them back. 6 points in the bag, I suppose. All that talk, but I'm a bit more nonchalant about it. I know that obviously if you go on social media, especially between the two kind of local rivals or whatnot, it's off the Richter scale. But yeah, the time where Derby's back, that's going to be massive. It is definitely going to bring a lot of atmosphere. That's going to be good to see, actually.
I love to see it, bro, because now you've got 6 points that are going to be difficult to get.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I liked it. I was happy they went up because I for that game again. I've got no dog in that race, but I do enjoy the sort of northeast derbies. Terry, where do you rank in terms of British players leaving to foreign leagues? What Scott did after the likes of Jude and Bale? Well, look, I think one of the highest ranking British players to leave and do well abroad years back was Kevin Keegan. He did a fantastic job at the likes of Hamburg, but that's a different generation. In the generation that I remember, the famous names Michael Owen, McManaman, Beckham going abroad. Jude has kind of been abroad for a long time. Gareth Bale did it. Trying to think of other players. Jadon Sancho, to be fair, went away and did his thing. Scott McTominay's ranks. Bale was probably in my lifetime is probably the best player and had the most achievements. That's absolutely fair. But I think what Scott McTominay did was more akin to Leicester City season. So a team that was 10th last year, wasn't even in the top 4 or 5 favourites to win Serie A at the beginning. He was a player that everyone laughed at, didn't think was very good. For him to go to Serie A, for an unfancied team to win the league, and for him to be the MVP of the league, that's more of a fairy tale story. It's more of an underdog story. So Bale better, more achievements. Jude better, more achievements. But I think Scott McTominay in my lifetime, what he did was so unexpected. And to get that Player of the Year award at the same time, I think that combined just makes it very special. I'm not saying more special. It's very special.
As much as that is class, and I agree with everything you've just said, none of that happens without Antonio Conte in charge, man.
Agreed. But you could also argue Bale doesn't win what he wins without Ronaldo and Modric and Zidane at the club. And I think you can make that argument. And that's why I say that there's loads to it. I put those guys above what McTominay did in terms of overarching quality. But the underdog nature of McTominay's was just great. And I think because it was just everyone expected to see him go off and in a year or so be on loan somewhere else and not really deliver. And, the fact he scored a bicycle kick to win the league for Napoli is mad.
And what makes it even sweeter is the fact that he's obviously won these guys the league last year as well. When United was scamming these wins, he managed to win them 12 points last year, bro. Right? So they got rid of him and didn't replace him correctly because they brought in, was it Ogate you brought in? You didn't really bring in an attacking midfielder, did you?
Yeah. I mean, look, we didn't. And I think, again, that was about putting faith in the players that we had in those attacking roles, and they didn't deliver. And Ugarte wasn't a direct replacement for him in terms of we wanted someone that was better at winning the ball in the deeper roles. The expectation was for other people to step up and score goals, and they all went fucking. Xerxes was more his replacement in terms of positionally. Does that make sense? As an attacking type player, and it just didn't work. So yeah, really poor recruitment, really bad decision in the end from our point of view. But very, very happy for Scott. Dan here says Arsenal fans can't speak to us. 1 FA Cup in over 2 decades. Chelsea's youngest team ever in the Prem. Written off by everyone. Of course, they celebrated.
And we were the youngest team to come second, but no one was giving us any plaudits. But fair play, man. Well done for coming fourth. I keep saying it. Well done. Amazing.
This is an interesting super chat. Off topic. What were you guys doing before YouTube?
That's Don Frozen. What was he doing before YouTube? What was it? Yeah, he has frozen. There we go. He's gone.
Frozen.
Sorry, what was it? What were you doing before YouTube? So I worked for a health charity which helped people with disabilities. That's what I did.
Oh. How about yourself, Phil? What do you do? Or
I still work. I still do work in the local for young people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Everyone knows what I did. I'm not going to bore everybody. I'm not going to bore everybody and say I worked in banking. I did. Before that, I worked at Phones for You. I still do it after all these years. Still got the skills. Don's back with us now. What did you do before YouTube, Don, or what do you do?
What do I do? Oh, we're sharing life stories now.
Hang on. Yeah, here we are. Don't talk like you're some shotter and you can't tell no one. You're just a normal guy. Relax.
No,
I'm in construction.
I work in financial services, man. Basically, I work in financial services.
I work in waste management. Is what he's going to say. Waste management.
I work in financial services. Used to watch the Terrace a lot, man. I think my first appearance in the Terrace was in January, the year we finished 12th, Terry, when Potter was fucking up. That's when I first.
Yeah. You called into a match reaction. I remember, mate. I remember.
Yeah.
And Nima here says Scott McTominay, the modern day Maradona. The thing is, I will say this: Napoli fans will never put him above him, but Napoli fans absolutely love McTominay. If he's a legend there already, and they love him, and they would never put him above Maradona because of what Maradona did for them. But the way he has been welcomed as an outsider into their city, into their club, there is a connection there. There is a similarity without McTominay being anywhere near as good. And they love the guy. I think he's got like 4 or 5 songs, nicknames. He's just everywhere. And you even heard it like every time he's shown on camera in these celebrations, it's him that gets the biggest cheer. And I'm just really happy for Scotty because I always liked Scott. I was very, very, very happy that he's done so well.
He's got murals all over Naples as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. He must just be sitting there thinking, you know that great meme, Paul Rudd on the Chicken Shop podcast. Did you expect to be here? No, neither did I. There's a part of him that just thinks he probably backed himself to go there and do well, but I don't know if anybody that's moving to a club like Napoli with the players they've got, with where they were, of Scott's profile goes there thinking, I'm going to become the poster boy and superstar of this team. I just don't think he would have thought that, and he's a midfielder. Like, it does happen for midfielders, but it's not. Yeah, I'm really happy for the guy. Well done. Terry did OnlyFans, spicy. I still do, bruv. I still do. $5.99 a month and at £10 for a rate my cockpit. Do you know what I mean?
People say before YouTube, bro. Listen, I don't do YouTube full time. I still work. Like Terry Potts, these guys. I don't know if Phil does it full time, but I don't do it full time yet.
I'm very lucky to do it full time now because of you, wonderful community, and very, very happy to do it. And it's it's nice. I enjoy it. Stressful sometimes when your team loses and you got to go live. I can't lie. Very, very stressful. Chelsea will not do well in the Champions Leagues and Premier League. 100%. Sorry, Don.
Documented. Thank you.
I love it. This is from earlier, actually. I missed this one from earlier. It says, this is from Patrick. Hope you're well, Patty. He says, Hojlund is not a crap player. He had 16 goals last season, and he is the youngest player to score in 6 consecutive Premier League games for United. I think he's the youngest to ever do it, maybe, that stat. He is still a young player playing in a highly dysfunctional team. He's been crap, Patrick, and we have to admit that. But where I agree with you... No, he has been crap, but I get where you're coming from because I think there is still a player inside. You remember Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid 3? You've got to find the bonsai. Like your best karate is still inside. Now you let out.
I'm killing you about that response, Terry, because usually you'd be like, look, we don't really create many chances for him. Now Terry's like, fuck that. I'm not defending.
No, he hasn't crap. Where I am going to defend it is, listen, we've done it with Anthony. We're doing it with Rashi and these guys. We'll be able to find a way out the club. The one thing I'm going to defend the club on is, how are you going to get rid of any of these players? Well, we're showing with Anthony how we're going to do it. So I'm not.
United and Chelsea are quite similar in a way, yeah, in terms of like our players that we want to get rid of. Because we've got a reputation of like ruining players, innit? Especially Man United. So teams will take that punt because it's like, it happens to everyone over there. Let's just get it.
I agree. Josh here says, spot on, Don. Conte disrespect is crazy. He's a winner.
Yeah, he is, man. I think that was for me, not for Dom. But yeah,
Dan, sorry.
Yeah.
He
I
is.
agree, man. I think
He is,
I
though.
agree. I think he's an absolutely ridiculous manager, man. Like
He
people laugh
is.
at what he did at Tottenham, but look at where Tottenham are now. It was fourth when he got. They got them fourth. What the hell?
My only pushback on that is this: that how do I say this correctly? Inter Milan left. He's now looks like he's leaving Napoli. If I had a team that was kind of ready to maybe win, I'd love the idea of him, but I'd be numb at the fact that he could come in. We go, wow, we just won the league, 95 points, we're amazing. I'm leaving now, guys. So fuck off. Like it doesn't stay very long, and that's the only thing that puts me off is he don't stay very long, and I'd want him to stay more. Moving on from that, big story coming out of one of the huge Portuguese publications today is that Arsenal have submitted, this is 70 million euros, but that's a 58 million pound bid plus add-ons for Viktor Gyökeres. It says the striker is expected to receive a signing on bonus of 12 million plus an annual salary of around 7 million a year on a 5-year contract. It says Gyökeres' agent is expected to present all the finer details to the sporting president over the course of the next 24 hours. United have been ruled out by a number of outlets now. No one else is really heavily linked to him. It just seems to be Arsenal. We know there's talk of this sort of debate internally, but the Portuguese press now for a good 5, 6, 7 days are saying personal terms are no problem between the player and the club. Got to finalise the deal. Obviously, they had the big cup final at the weekend. That's now out the way. What is your thoughts on this, Potsy? Is it a deal you just want to see Arsenal get done and over the line now and not let it drag on?
Absolutely, man. This is the number one target for me. Now, I know that Alexander Isak's wanted by many people, and I've gone on about him for what feels like forever, but he's staying at Newcastle now.
Average.
So, for me, it's Gyökeres. And if I'm honest with you, I look at the stats of Gyökeres, and they're scary, man. Like, he's an absolute bagsman. I look at the scenario of where people have come from and what they've done, and people sometimes poo-poo it, like the Championship. Oh, he was at Coventry and now he's in a Farmers League. I don't see anybody getting Coventry to the playoff final single-handedly and anybody else scoring over 50 goals and assists 2 years running in the Portuguese league. If there is people that have done that, then please let me know, because I probably want to ask to sign them as well. But I look at what he has been doing, man. It's scary, mate. It's absolutely scary. 52 games, 54 goals, absolutely ridiculous. And then you look last season, to be fair to him, and it was 43 goals in 50 games. Now, this is a bagsman, and he's worth taking a punt on. If it is 70 million euros, and even if it goes up to 70 million pounds, I'd take it. I still think it's a bargain. We paid 65 M's for Havertz, man. So I definitely want to be putting money on this guy. He looks the real deal. I think he will be brilliant. And people sometimes laugh at like the backgrounds, but I've seen some brilliant players come from the Championship, to be honest, particularly in the last couple of years. I think it's a very competitive league, very physically demanding league. And I think it can be a good place to start. When you look at players that have done well in the same position in the last few years, you look at the likes of, Tony and Mitrovic and Eze and Elise, they all come from the Championship and are now playing at top level. So I think that it's quite a silly thing to do, to laugh at it. But then to go and do it in the Portuguese league, to win trophies over there, to be a pivotal point of why you're winning trophies. This guy scores all sorts of goals. His ball carrying stats are better than anyone we've got in our front line. I think all the sorts of goals that he scores, aerially, is pretty good. His link-up play is better than he gets credit for. And he's a killer in the box. So I think that would be the missing piece, or the start of a missing piece, to what is a front line that's been quite underwhelming for Arsenal. So I hope it gets done. I like the rumours. I personally believe that this is a really good signing. And I'm got to be honest, I'll be gutted if he doesn't come to Arsenal now. I don't want Sesko ahead of him. I don't want Ekitiké ahead of him. I certainly don't want Liam Delap ahead of him. So for me, if these are the guys we've been linked with now, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, I hope it's us that gets Gyökeres across the line. We're hearing good things about Andrea Berta, that he wants him, and our kind of vision has been moved away target-wise, it looks like anyway, from Sesko now to Gyökeres. I think that's Andrea Berta coming in and saying, no, you don't want Sesko. He's ready in 5 years. This guy's ready now. And that's what's important to me. I don't want a project striker. I want someone who's going to be coming in now and going, boom, there's 20 goals, there's 30 goals. That's what Arsenal need. And when you look at the teams that have won Premier League titles or Champions Leagues, whatever it be, They've always had a bagsman, whether it's Salah, whether it's Haaland, whether it's Aguero, whether it's Thierry Henry, whether it's Dwight York, Andy Cole, Wayne Rooney, or Van Nistelrooy. They've all had 30-goal-a-season strikers. Arsenal haven't had one for a very long time now. The last time we had a striker that I knew was guaranteeing me goals was Aubameyang. That was in 2022. So we've been nearly 4 years later. We've got to replace him now. And for me, Havertz and Jesus are not it. Gyökeres would be a brilliant signing. And it don't end there, Terry, by the way. It's not just get a striker, Arsenal now ready to win everything. I think there's still missing pieces of the puzzle in midfield, and particularly on the wide areas that we still need to strengthen. But that striker, everyone can see, is the focal point that's needed, man. The prolific number 9 is absolutely needed. And Gyökeres is the guy I want, man. So let's see what happens.
What's your thoughts on it, Phil?
Yeah, I think Gyökeres is, with all the kind of, I understand what Potts is saying in regards to people downplaying it. I think more in terms of just, I think it's a far riskier signing compared to Sesko and any other players that come from traditionally better leagues. Opta analysts or Opta stats don't even count the stats coming out of Portugal because it is such a poor league. And I understand the argument of, well, everybody else will be doing it. Well, as soon as they begin to hit that peak, usually teams buy those players. Like, Gonçalo Ramos is one of the most recent signings from there. We talked about Darwin Núñez. And from that league as well, they're not really producing the level of players that are going to hit those numbers are. And as soon as they are, before they hit their peak, they're often bought, like Vitna and all these other players. So hence why I think Gyökeres stands out. I think it is a valid point to say, okay, let's see how Gyökeres plays against bigger, stronger, far more athletic defenders. How does he cope with midfielders that are going to be on him? How press resistant really is he? How good is that first touch to get him past players? If he is going to be turned up against low blocks, which often teams will be playing against Arsenal because you guys are so good in possession, how good is he in those small spaces? I think those are just valid. I think those are valid questions to ask, and I think the risk is higher in getting a Gyökeres compared to other strikers. I traditionally, just myself, I always give any player 2 years before I make my mind up on him. So if his first year is brilliant, I'm not going to be kind of over them like going crazy, I was wrong. Or if his first year he's not doing so well, I'm not going to be sitting here saying I told you so type of thing. I wouldn't be doing that. I usually give strikers 2 years. I just think he's the far riskier. He's the more riskier compared to the other strikers you could be looking at. I think Sesko plays in a better league, for instance. Ekitiké plays in the better league. João Pedro plays in the Premier League. So if I were Arsenal, I would have been looking at those players a lot more closer than I would at Gyökeres.
Do you think one of those three takes us across the line though, Phil? Sesko's got 13 league goals. Havertz has got 9 and been injured for 4 months. I don't look at Sesko and go wow factor yet. I think 20, maybe in 5 years or 3 years, maybe he might be the guy that everyone's looking at the age of 23. But I think I ain't got really 3 years to wait. The same with João Pedro. As much as I like him, I don't think he's like, wow, Jesus and Havertz, sit down. This guy's getting 30 goals a season. I don't get that yet. And neither with Delap either. So I think with Gyökeres, he's worth the punt on the others for the pure fact that he's been doing it. And I think for me, what makes him even more convinced is the fact that he's doing it in the Europa League, Champions League, and for his country now. If he wasn't doing that, I'd be like, this guy's kind of disappearing when it matters. It's okay beating Braga, but he can't beat like anyone in the Champions League. Scoring a hat-trick against Man City. He's the only player that I've seen dominate Saliba in a game so far. So for me, I think it would be worth the risk.
Isak did that as well.
The thing is, with Gyökeres, as much as I want him as well, right? The main sort of thing that I'm a little bit skeptical about is just how he's gonna transform playing against multiple low blocks, right? Because a lot of the goals that I've watched from this guy, bro, he's in a lot of space, man. That's one thing about him. He's in a lot of space. He's got all the time to just take a man on. Usually it's just one-on-one defending against him. I haven't really seen much of him up against a team that are just going to sit back and whatnot. And I've already told you, Potts, centrally, you've got a problem in terms of your creativity. Saka creates, cool. Martinelli's not a great crosser. You probably get a new left winger there. So, this guy's going to need the chances. Not to say that Arsenal don't create chances, but centrally, You don't create the best chances centrally, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the downside that I would say with Gyökeres, isn't it? Like, it's just me and Jem go back and forth about this because Jem really wants him as well. It's just I'm a little bit skeptical about, you know, the low blocks and whatnot, and especially with Arsenal with the lack of creativity at times. You know, that he might not suit you best. I'll be real. He might not suit you best, man.
I don't know who will suit us best, though, Don, because every single striker we talk about is like, I'm not sure about him. Don't think he's ready. He's not going to suit the style of play.
Osimhen, bro. I think Osimhen will be good for you guys as well. I'll be real, because the way
I
like
Osimhen, always have, but for some reason,
the type of chances I see Saka creating at times, I'm like, yo, Osimhen would love them. That's why I'm looking at it for me as well. Like the chances I see Neto creating, even Madueke at times, Osimhen would love these sort of chances. And it's not to say Gyokeres wouldn't. It's just for me in the box, I think Osimhen is the best in the box out of everyone. You know what I mean? But Arteta wouldn't. I don't think he wants that sort of personality. I think those two would just clash massively. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a hard one. There's always pros and cons with these strikers, as you say, and I think it's an interesting one. Saka has said something, and I really want to get like this is why these signings got to work. Did you see Saka's post on Instagram, Potsy? Where he said, for the viewers that haven't seen it, he says, we all know the mission. We are working towards achieving things this club hasn't seen in a while, and our time will come. It's him obviously holding the Champions League ball and a picture of himself. And there's been a number of those messages from Arsenal. And I think that's why it's important to get these players in, because Liverpool are moving amazingly well.
Yep.
Wirtz, Frimpong, Gyökeres look like they're going to happen. We all know Chelsea are going to buy players this year. So it's not going to happen. We haven't even got on to City. They're about to bid for Renders. There's talk they've got an agreement in principle already with João Garcia. They may not even act on it. They're linked to Livramento. They're linked to who's the left back? They're linked to
Nouri.
Yeah, Ain't Nouri. They're going to add, and they're surely going to buy. And in midfield today, Cherki and Gibbs White. They're linked to. City are going to. They're going to go. So for me, 100%. So I think it's. I look, whether it's Sesko, whichever one of these guys it is, I think you need to get some of these deals done sooner rather than later until other teams start knocking. I think it's getting a cut of these. You know, it's like with like Cunha. I rate Cunha. I'm so glad we've got it done early, because it just stops somebody else turning his head later on down the line. And I think for me, Gyökeres, I think will be sensational for you. I think this is a man that could score in all comps 30 plus goals for you next season. And I'm not talking about taking goals from Kai Havertz or taking goals from elsewhere. I think this is someone that will score a lot of goals that you are not currently scoring. I think your total number of goals will increase. It won't just be same amount scored, but he's scoring them. I think there'll be additional goals put into the back of the net by someone like him. So I think you've got to look at it, because the one thing I'd be worried about as an Arsenal fan when you see what Saka has said is, how many more years will Saka's and Saliba's want to stay if you're not getting over the line and winning these trophies, especially after a season where a number of clubs that don't win have won? I'm not saying Saka's going to leave at the end of next season if you don't do it, but maybe another season or two, and the vultures will be they'll be swarming. They'll be
100%. And we've seen this before, Tel. I've said this about the youth projects that we've been trying before. Fabregas went, Van Persie went, Alexis Sanchez went. We saw about 4 of them go to Man City. This will happen if we don't start winning trophies. Saliba will be in a Real Madrid shirt. Gabriel will leave. Saka will not stay forever if you're not going to win. This is what happens in football. We've seen it with other clubs. So it's about winning now. It's time to deliver. Andrea Berta, I think, has been appointed by the Cronkies to come and get us over the line now with signings. And that's why I'm looking forward to this summer, because I think it will be different than the Edu and Farmis and Raul Sanlehis previously under even Zidas and Emery. I think this is going to be a big window for Arsenal. It has to be. It absolutely has to be. And, you know, we need 4 or 5 big players coming in to take us across the line, because, you know, we're close, but not close enough. I've got to see trophies, man.
I agree. Thoughts on City and their links to Cherki, Gibbs and João Garcia?
For me, I think Arsenal should be going for a Cherki, just to kind of go back to, just to add quickly to Dan's earlier point about who's the striker to get us over the line. I think you need maybe a couple more players, but I think it's a really creative, someone creative, and going to what Don's point is as well, a midfielder. Especially watching that PSG game, I was severely like frustrated watching. And I know it's Erdegaard. I feel like I really, I really rate Erdegaard. I just feel like if he had the more confidence to take more risks, he'll be an exceptional player. But if that's just him, if that's his nature to be cautious of the ball, fine. That he can be a controller. But then you need someone who is a little bit more risky. I feel like he missed the boat there a little bit with Cunha. I think he would have added a lot of personality and creativity in the middle of the park for you. But then I think Cherki would be great. Either Cherki behind whoever your striker is, for instance, and then you've got the unpredictability in what's happening. I think someone like Saka, he might even bring the best out of Martinelli as well. So I think something like that would suit Arsenal.
I like him. Eze is the one I would like, but yeah, I like Cherki.
Yeah, very, very talented player. And again, very good links for City, no doubt, if they add them to their squad. Potts, why didn't Arsenal's women get an open bus parade?
Why didn't Arsenal's women get an open bus parade? They had a parade, bro. What? Yesterday they had the parade.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah, they did have a parade for it. They did.
Tony here. This is a short of Don saying Chelsea has a better team than Arsenal. Watch it. And better team than Arsenal. And then also says here, Don saying Chelsea has a better team than Liverpool. I came with receipts. I
want you, bro. Let Terry play it, bro. Let Terry play it because I've never said that. I've never said we've got a better team than these guys. I've always said Arsenal and Liverpool have a better 11 than Chelsea, but I prefer our depth. That's what I said all the time, bro.
That is what he said in the videos. He said that Chelsea's squads are better in terms of depth, but their first teams are better.
Yeah.
Nick here says, what's your thoughts on the new World Club Cup this summer with better teams and every 4 years? To me, the Community Shield Super Cup and previous Club World Cup on, you mean Cup Winners' Cup are nothing trophies. The Cup Winners' Cup was not a nothing trophy, my friend. I can't allow history to be rewritten like that. I can't allow it to be the Cup Winners. The Club World Cup, we'll see how it goes and what people think of it. And the thing is this, fans dictate how big or small something is, but in the moment. For instance, no one takes the Nations League that seriously, no matter what UEFA say. If you win it, you go, way, but no fan takes it as seriously as the Euros or the World Cup. But the Cup Winners' Cup, when that was a trophy, that was massive for everyone that was in it. Everyone that was in it tried to win it. This wasn't like, it wasn't like the Conference League is now, where people are like, it's embarrassing to be in it. Only one team back then could get into the Champions League. Have you actually seen the Champions League teams that are in it next year? I think it works out something like 80% of the teams are from 4 leagues. 6 from England, 5 from Spain.
We're straight into pot 1. You know what I mean? While certain man get demoted out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Phil, tomorrow I have a lot of smoke for you.
Oh, is that Olu? I think that's Olu for on the channel I go on the rival show. I don't know what the smoke is for. We're Champions League, we've got a cup. I don't know. I don't want to say we've got one more trophy than you, because then that would be rude, and I like Dan. So great. See you tomorrow.
Chelsea fans are now saying complete the set: Champions League, Europa, and Conference.
You damn right. You damn right about that.
If there's a trophy,
make sure you win, man. Make sure you win, bro.
Yeah.
We'll be previewing that tomorrow on Straight Facts. Don't you worry. Look, I want to thank every single person.
Hold on, before you finish, Terry. Are we winning? Yes or no?
Oh,
Are we winning tomorrow? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course you are. You're Chelsea, man. You're up
no.
Chelsea.
Don't do that. Answer the question, bro. Are we winning the trophy?
Yeah,
tomorrow?
I think you'll win. Yeah, I think you'll win. You should win. I think you'll win.
Are you gonna win, Don?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We ain't got time to jump into it, but there's been supposedly the words that Ruben Amorim used when he told Garnacho to find a new club, exact words in the dressing room in front of his teammates were, "You better pray you can find a club to sign you."
Wow, I love that, man. I love that.
I'm sitting there just thinking, this is what the irony in it is. People go, you got to have standards. Yeah, people only care about standards when it's not about players that you like. But for me, listen, his brother's out tweeting. He said what he said. Listen, as long as we improve next year, I don't give a shit, bruv.
Yeah, man. Chelsea better not go anywhere near this guy, bruv.
You are, bruv. Man. You're going near him. You're going to go near him, and Don's going to go, been on White Scout. And
Nah. There ain't no White Scout saving that guy. I'm sorry.
Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. This is going to redirect you to, I think, Footy Judge Mo's channel. So go and support my bro over there. Potsy, Don and Phil, thank you for coming on. To all of our super chatters, you absolute legends. To our members, all of our new subscribers, literally 670 so far, new subscribers today. Blown away by it. So thank you all very much for tuning into the channel. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.